I'm Teddy from His Image Ministries, and we're conducting a students' perception survey on abortion. We'd love to know what your thoughts are about abortion, and maybe like how would you tell the term abortion? Are there maybe some of the types that you're familiar with about abortion? Have you watched maybe the procedures of abortion? What are some of the risks involved? Could it be physical, psychological, or the future risks involved in abortion? So nice meeting you, Carol. How would you define the term abortion?
To me, abortion
Yeah.
is like, I think abortion, it's like, okay, I don't know, like, but I think abortion, it's like getting rid of the pregnancy, maybe because of many factors, maybe you don't want it, like that.
All right. So what would be some of the reasons that influences young ladies to go in for abortion?
For abortion, at times you find like you cannot take care of that child, and at times you find like you've already gotten the pregnancy, but maybe you're still studying, and the parents don't know about it. So by all means, you have to get rid of it because they have to still be knowing, because they like, by all means they're going to know. So you have to get rid of it as maybe they don't know, because the parents at times they are the ones who are still paying school fees and all that.
All right. So do you think that the reasons that you've given does really gives one a clear view to end the life of the other?
I think
You think? All right. So when do you think that life begins?
life begins, of course, when someone has gotten pregnancy, then they have to produce the kid and all that.
All right. So basically, you're saying that life begins at conception, at the point at which the egg and the sperm meets.
Yes,
That's when life begins. So if you're believing that that's the point when life begins, so why would these reasons that you've talked about brings about ending of one's life?
it's illegal, so that's why they have to abort.
Okay. So don't you think that also that life deserves a chance to live?
They do.
They do.
Yeah, of course, because some people they do conceive like through such means, but they don't abort and produce the kids and still survive.
Okay. So you said it is okay for a lady to terminate the pregnancy reasons for if she cannot take care of the baby and everything all together. So what do you think would be the appropriate stage? Could it be like maybe from conception to 3 months, from 4 months to 6, or from 7 to 9 months? Which one would be the appropriate stage that you would recommend one
The
if they want?
appropriate stage, me, I don't know anything about abortion, so I don't know
Hmm.
the appropriate stage where they're supposed to abort through.
Okay. All right. Like maybe the first early stage, like
But I think
when someone has discovered they're pregnant to 3 months, then from 4 to 6, then from 7 to 9 months.
because I think by the time they are both
Mm.
like before maybe people come to know. I
Mm.
think by the time it comes to like 6 months,
Mm.
where it can be seen, but they are both before. I think they are both in the early stages, like around before like around 4 months and below. Maybe.
4 months. So you think from 4 months below would be like maybe the best stage when someone can terminate a pregnancy?
I think
You think? All right. So I have something small that I need you to watch. Just a short clip about abortion procedure. I don't know whether it's okay with you.
it's okay.
My name is Dr. Anthony Levatino. I'm a practicing obstetrician gynecologist and I've performed over 1,200 abortions. Today I'm going to describe a first trimester surgical abortion called suction D&C, dilatation and curettage. This is the most frequently performed abortion and is used typically from 5 to 13 weeks of pregnancy. After administering anesthesia, the abortionist uses a speculum like this. This is placed inside the vagina and opened using this screw on the side, allowing the abortionist to see the cervix, the entrance to the uterus. The cervix acts as a gate that stays closed for the duration of pregnancy, protecting the baby until it is ready for birth. The abortionist uses a series of metal rods called dilators, like these, which increase in thickness, and inserts them into the cervix to dilate it, gaining access to the inside of the uterus where the baby resides. The baby has a heartbeat, fingers, toes, arms, and legs, but its bones are still weak and fragile. The abortionist takes a suction catheter like this one. This is a 14 French suction catheter. It's clear plastic, about 9 inches long, and it has a hole through the center. It is inserted through the cervix into the uterus. The suction machine is then turned on with a force 10 to 20 times more powerful than your household vacuum cleaner. The baby is rapidly torn apart by the force of the suction and squeezed through this tubing down into the suction machine, followed by the placenta. Though the uterus is mostly emptied at this point, one of the risks of a suction D&C is incomplete abortion, essentially pieces of the baby or placenta left behind. This can lead to infection or bleeding. In an attempt to prevent this, the abortionist uses a curette to scrape the lining of the uterus. A curette is basically a long-handled curved blade. Once the uterus is empty, the speculum is removed and the abortion is complete. The risks of suction D&C include perforation or laceration of the uterus or cervix, potentially damaging intestine, bladder, and nearby blood vessels, hemorrhage, infection, and in rare instances, even death. Future pregnancies are also at a greater risk for loss or premature delivery due to abortion-related trauma and injury to the cervix. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm Dr. Anthony Levatino, and in the early part of my career as an OBGYN, I performed over 1,200 abortions. One day, after completing one of those abortions, I looked at the remains of a preborn child whose life I had ended, and all I could see was someone's son or daughter. I came to realize that killing a baby at any stage of pregnancy for any reason is wrong. I want you to know today, no matter where you're at or what you've done, you can change. Make a decision today to protect the preborn. Thank you for your time. I will no longer do any more abortions. When you finally figure out that killing a baby that big for money is wrong, that it doesn't take you too long to figure out it doesn't matter if the baby is this big or this big or this big or maybe even this big, it's all the same. And I haven't done any since then and I never will.
Alright, so what are your thoughts? Do you still feel or think that it's okay for a lady?
I'm not feeling there.